Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Third Moon Brewing, and they're out of Milton, Ontario, Canada, and this is their Hand Path, the Peacharine variant. So this is a West Coast IPA that comes in at 6.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 6.5 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and occasional viewer of the channel, Sean, for this beer. So huge thanks to him. Sean and I hung out a little bit over a month ago, and he actually gave me 4 beers to review on the channel. This is actually the 4th and final beer from said haul, and him and I planned on reviewing this one as a duo review. However, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe even a little bit, about 3 weeks ago at this point, I came down with a bad cold for a couple weeks, lost my sense of smell and taste for like 8 or 9 days, and then recently, Sean is experiencing the same thing. So we have been unable to link up to do this. Also, my schedule changed a little bit. So I just told Sean, I'm gonna get to this one before it gets a bit older. He was cool with it, of course. We might do another duo review in the near future of something we both can get our hands on. So when it comes to Third Moon, I love their beer. Never had a West Coast IPA from them, and this one is brewed with all Peacharine hops from Freestyle Hops, and it sounds really tasty to me. One thing I love about Third Moon, though, if I'm being honest with you, I just love the branding. The black can, their logo, just this one pops. I think this is like a fantastic looking can. Like, just forget the artwork, which is really nice as well. It's just the can. Aesthetically pleasing. I love it. Anyway, let's crack it open before I almost drop it there. 6.5 weeks old, still pretty fresh, but when he gave me this can, I would think it was like less than 2 weeks old, so is what it is. We're using the Barn Cat Tiku, not hashtag proper glassware, but wanted to use a Canadian glass of some sort, and here we are. Even though they are now defunct, whatever. And that looks like some sort of West Coast IPA. It really does. Let's get rid of the dirty glass mafia. So how does that look? It looks beautiful. And what you're seeing is what I'm seeing. I'm not even bust out the contraband flashlight. Yeah, it has this beautiful, honey. I wouldn't even say honey. I would say more of like a yellow golden, like a straw golden color, a little bit darker. Has about 2 fingers of an infinitely creamy off-white head that has a little bit of like a marshmallow look at the top. I can't really show you that, I guess, if I could go down like this. You can't really see, but it has like a marshmallow look up top. Good clarity. You can see a little bit of my hand through it. Maybe not perfect. There's a little bit of chill haze, probably a little bit of haze as is, so the clarity is not through the roof, but I think that looks beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful looking beer. Good carbonation. Let's get a nose. So to me, this is a new school West Coast IPA. They don't say new school West Coast IPA. Nobody does now. It just says West Coast IPA wherever. But this is that, light on the malt bill, probably a lot of Pilsner malt, and then just let the new age hop shine like this, but still it's going to be dry and bitter. That's what this is. Tons of stone fruits. It has, dare I say, peach, but I'd say more of like a apricot, maybe mango and peach. Some lychee, passion fruit. A little bit of underlying like mandarin orange, like a cutie. Ruby red grapefruit. And then it has this beautiful, dank, herbaceous kind of vibe to it, and a little bit of that like resinous pine floral sensation. Dude, this smells epic for 6.5%. Like all the beers that Sean gave me basically were, I think were all of them 6.5? No, I think 3 of the 4 were 6.5. Maybe they were all 6.5 now I'm thinking about it. I think they may have all been 6.5. That's kind of crazy. This smells awesome. It smells exactly how I want it to. A little bit of that crackery malt you get from the base, what I assume is Pilsner malt. A lot of stone fruit, a little bit of tropical and citrus, dank, herbaceous, floral pininess. Yeah, I'm here for it. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Sean. Hope you feel better, buddy. Very nice. I did see that the ratings on Untappd for this one, now let's call a spade here. I think most of you would agree with me. Untappd, it's skewed in one direction for like a half dozen styles, and then the other styles people just shit on, right? If it's a hazy, if it's a pastry sour or pastry stout or a barrel-aged beer, they get crazy ratings. Like even subpar like hazy IPAs are like 4 out of 5 for the most part. This gets like a 4 out of 5 on Untappd. I'll tell you right off that first sip, this is better than a 4 out of 5 without question. Body is medium, maybe a touch over, 6.5%, impressive. The mouthfeel is exactly what you want out of a West Coast IPA. It's crisp, has a cleanness to it, a cleanliness to it. Moderate to a touch over, moderately carbonated, spritzy on the palate, smooth going down the second half, but like it has a little bit more of like a biting kind of carbonation to it. And the taste is omnipresent, crackery malt, but it's underlying. And then waves of, to me, what hits me at the tip of the tongue is like a little pithy, bittering citrus, and it is that ruby red grapefruit, mandarin orange, more of like the rind, the pith. Then midway through the palate, the stone fruits come in order: apricot, mango, peach. They dance around the palate. A little bit of a candied nature to them, sweeter nature, over-ripened nature to them. Touch of that passion fruit, lychee kind of tropical essence as well. And then on the finish, this is bone dry with a moderate bitterness. It's not too bitter though. If you're somebody who doesn't love a bunch of bitterness, I think you might be able to get by this one, maybe not, but it definitely is dry and bitter. And it has more of that dank, I'm not even say herbaceous, it's more of a dank floral resinous pine finish, almost a sprucey kind of finish to it. Really no residual sweetness to speak of. I just love the nose. The nose definitely, and look at the glass lacing for me taking all these sips. Look at that. That's beautiful glass lacing. Fantastic. It is a little bit light flavor-wise in terms of, it has a complexity, but the flavors are kind of light. The things that really hit me on the palate, if we're talking about the fruitiness, it's more of that stone fruit midway through. And then the finish with that dank, like kind of resinous pine quality. Those are the two predominant notes I get on the palate. But what this really does deliver is that dry bitterness. And it's really nice from that aspect. I think after taking a handful of sips, I've kind of, my rating went from like pretty high to, just kind of correcting itself and going a little bit lower. That said, this is delicious stuff. I'm gonna pour the rest into the glass here, and I'm gonna give it a proper rating because this is delicious. And here's what I'll say, and I'm sure, and I know a lot of you out there, Fraser, other folks that have watched my channel from Canada, you guys say Third Moon's one of your favorite brewers, if not your favorite brewery in Canada, in Ontario, and I see why. For the new age kind of styles, your hazies, West Coast IPAs, pastry stouts, pastry sours, barrel-aged beers, I have not had a bad beer from them. Now, I haven't had a ton from them, but I've had about a dozen now, and they don't miss. Throw the packaging together. I just love the label. I just love everything about it. I think they're a really good brewery. So I'm going to give this a pretty damn good score. Not an amazing score, but pretty damn good. I think Third Moon's probably proud of this beer, and I would be too. I would love to try, if they do other versions of it, which it seems like they do, I'd love to try them. I spilled shit all over my shirt here, as you can see. Look, I have a little bit of an accident, happy accident. Anyway, I'm going to give this a high 4.25 out of 5. I'll go 4.35. Almost gets in the low 4.4 realm. I started it off after the first couple sips. I'm like, oh, this is a 4.5 out of 5, but it went down a little bit. For no other reason than, again, I don't think the intensity of flavors are there, but you have to keep in mind this is a 6.5% West Coast IPA. It's not 7.5, it's not a double, so I got to keep that in mind. So 4.35 out of 5, this is delicious. Price point availability, I think that when I looked these up, it was like $22-ish for a 4-pack of this Canadian. And I think that translates into about $15, $16 American. Yeah, I'd pay $3.75 to $4 for a can of that all day, every day here in the US. So that's a good price point. And availability, I don't know. You tell me if you're in Canada where you can get these. We do not get distro of Third Moon here in New York State outside of some kegs that occasionally show up. Never seen cans. I don't think they make it to this side of the border. But if you ever catch yourself in Ontario, you go up to Canada for a vacation or whatever, definitely 3 breweries I would say grab for sure. It would be in Ontario, for me, be Third Moon, Badlands, and you could say Bellwoods, although we get some distro Bellwoods, but Third Moon, Badlands, and I'd go Counterpart in Niagara Falls. If you're talking about Southern Ontario, I think those are like my 3 favorite of the breweries I've had. They just all 3 of them do a really good job. But yeah, this is quite tasty. 6.5%, a little bit of an actual warming, not in my chest, but in my stomach, which is kind of weird, but nothing on the palate. So once again, huge thanks to Sean. Sean, I hope you feel better, buddy, and we can do a duo review in the near future. I'm sure we can get our hands on some similar beers, that you don't have to give me or I have to give you. Or if you do come down in the summer and you want to bring some stuff over, I give you some stuff to go back home, whatever the case may be. But should be a lot of fun. Anyway, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section as I just spit everywhere. I would love to hear from you. Shutting this one down to the next one. Cheers. There's one other thing I was going to say, but then another motorcycle went by. So I'm just going to double cheers you. Cheers.